Peace and good morning or good afternoon if you're in the Netherlands. And welcome to this afternoon's centering prayer practice. Hello, Andrew. I said hi to pretty much everybody else, I think. So, a little quote for you this morning before we begin our practice together. When we practice together, of course, we create a ritual in our lives. We participate in group practice, and that group practice brings all of our light energy together because, as Jesus said, where two or three are gathered, I am there. The I am is the Christ consciousness. It's the Shakti of the universe. It's the divine energy that pervades all things all the time, and it's inside of us. And when we find it inside of us, when it lives inside of us, it magnifies among us when we practice together. So here's the quote, and welcome everybody this morning, and thanks for liking the video. The mind cannot really rest or be still. It is either busy or non-existent. Mokokoma Mokhonoana. Mokokoma Mokhonoana describes himself as a mystic, philosopher, social critic, poet, graphics designer, marketer, satirist, wordsmith, etc. I've come across him several times while performing web searches. This particular saying of his struck me. Recently, I had a conversation in which a person revealed to me that during her meditation, she had an unusual experience. Suddenly, it was as if, she said, a trap door opened inside herself and she fell into a dark emptiness that was alien, and it frightened her. Her fear popped her right out of that void. The first time that this happened to me was years before my first near death experience, during meditation, and it frightened me as well. In this place, in this inner place, there is no self identity. And that is the problem for the ego. The ego falls into this place, it ceases to identify with itself, and it becomes frightened of not existing. The ego stops existing in this place and it doesn't like it. The ego, our thoughts, our thinking, they can't exist in such a place of peace and silence. Now, fear is a natural response when one begins to cease to exist, when you fall inside yourself. But this is part of the process of meditation. This is actually this falling inside of yourself to this place where the mind does not exist, is what you want, is what I want anyway. And the practice of meditation itself teaches us how to be in that place without fear. It's sort of like as soon as you recognize that you're in this place, you get kicked out of it. So the trick is not to pay attention to it. And how do you do this? Well, it's very similar to I live in a rural place where we have a beautiful sky of stars at night, and we regularly see the Milky Way when the moon is not up or there are no clouds. And so sometimes when I'm out walking out to my studio, I stop and I look up and I see the stars, and I might see a star in my peripheral vision. And if I'm looking right at one star, I can see this other star. But if I look over here to this second star, it disappears. But when I look back at this star, it reappears again. It's an optical thing that happens with the atmosphere and the bending of light. Check it out for yourself some night. That's what it's like in meditation. When the trapdoor opens, as soon as you look at the space you're in the darkness, you're out. You have to learn to, and meditation actually teaches this, how not to look at the void. Because as soon as you look at the void, maybe you become fearful of it, or maybe you just look at it, oh, look, I'm in the place of peace. Ah, and then you're out. The practice of meditation teaches how to pay attention not to that place. It teaches to focus on your breath, continue to focus on your breath, continue to have this just awareness of the place of this void and not to look at it. Fear is the natural reaction, or at least most of the people I know who've had that pop into experience who weren't expecting it. Um, they're afraid because the ego doesn't exist in that place. The mind exists because it's always busy, or when it stops and it enters into this interior place of silence, it ceases to exist. And the ego doesn't like that very much. But it is the origin of yourself. It's the beginning of the connection to the origin of yourself. It's your doorway into death. It's your doorway into your home. It's your doorway to your higher self. And so, if this happens to you, and praise to God, it may, if this happens to you, be with it. Just be with it. Because this is the place of peace and silence. When that trap door opens, all right, my friends, into the world and miscarried between that and the news from Ukraine. It's just rough. Oh my gosh, it is Friedness. And everybody's helping the Ukrainians. I hope that you're all able to help them financially and with prayer because they really, really need the help. It is an inflection point for the world right now, and so every time that we enter into this place of peace, we contribute to the peace of the world. But it also takes some action. They do need some support. Good morning, Wendy in Vermont. Hello, Susan in Western North Carolina, and hello, Nancy, wherever you are. And it's rainy. All right, so I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, and we can begin our practice in a moment. We usually begin with 3 ohms, as you may or may not know. And if you're new here, it's a super simple practice. You have feet on the floor if you're seated. Relax your body. Choose a prayer word. Repeat your prayer word. Follow your breath. When your mind gets distracted, go back to your prayer. And if you're more experienced, a more experienced centering prayer practitioner, breathe in today, as we've been practicing this week. Breathe in through your nose to your root chakra, down your belly, down your front, and breathe out up your spine to your third eye. And this essentially connects the two chakras together from here to there, from there to here, and cycle it through like a wheel. Okay. All right, my friends. Let's pop this mask on because, heck, I got these bright lights and it's not good for meditation. But this is, and if you have a little noisy place, those little foam earplugs, they work wonders too. I've got some over here just in case. All right, here we go. Mask on. Pull my chair in. Settle into my chair. 3 ohms, belly breath into the lungs 3 times, vibrating your heart, your throat, your third eye. And in your centering practice, just fill your belly. Don't worry about filling your lungs, they'll fill naturally. Let's go. Relax. Follow your breath in a wheel. You may slowly open your eyes, adjusting to the light. May your belly be full of peace. May your life be full of bliss and blessing today. I'll say hi to Nancy and Brother Ed out there in Oklahoma. The world is a wine press and we're being made into wine, says Tim. Nice. Peace, everybody. I'll see you on Sunday at Not Church and Mystic Tea Salon. Following that, at 11 at the top of the hour for Mystic Tea Salon, and at 10 Eastern Time for Not Church. Thanks for your support. It makes it very possible for me to be here. So I thank you for all the contributions that you make to make Mystic Tea Salon and Not Church and meditation possible. Peace to everybody. Thank you, Mary S. Namaste. See you soon. Peace. You're welcome, Anne Marie. You're welcome, Sheila.